Hey guys, Professor Bill, Comic Book University, and Shadowman, issue number 8. God, I love this comic book. Okay, so the people who wrote this comic book, the people who made this comic book are as follows. We got writer Andy Diggle, art Renato Guedes, letterer Simon Boland. Yeah, that's it. There's actually a whole bunch of people who did the various covers, but there's a lot of them, and I don't want to ruin that many names in one day. So suffice it to say, there are a lot of covers. There have always been a lot of covers for this. So the art in this is awesome. At one point, what do you call it? Shadowman is actually getting a how do I explain this? Well, the initials are starts with the letter B and ends with the letter J. And hint, there's only 2 letters in what happens. And just like the look, his eyes like barely open. Yeah. I think that somebody took an actual picture of that and just drew it because that's about right. All of that though, everything that happened after that is literally the abettors, which I've never really read Shadowman before this. So I started with this series really. So what happens? You got these abettors who are apparently people who are always trying to help these guys. And the whole time I'm just thinking these abettors, they're kind of a not great idea. I'm not a huge fan of these abettors. Well, it looks like they're all dead now. There's one guy who gets a ambiguous death. He'll probably show up at some point later on for a heroic save. Yay him. But for now, I'm just really not a huge fan of those guys. So it's probably a good thing that they were all killed off. In the meantime, what do you call it? We have, oh, for crying out loud, what's the Shadowman's actual name? Jack. Jeez, I know this. Jack Boniface. So he reveals that there are 3 aspects of the actual Shadowman, his actual shadow, and Bosu Kobelman, trying to see where it says it and whatnot, which we just found out in the previous issue. Now, 2 of those have actually already been revealed, but there's a 3rd one. And Jack's not sure what that is, and there must be a reason why Bosu is not giving the reveal to what that 3rd aspect is. It's probably the most powerful form or the most unpredictable. Either way, wow. So these guys are going to go off, and they wind up getting the Ring of Solomon. Now, the big thing about King Solomon in the Bible is this is where the idea of binding jinn came from. Jinn are the spirits, like genie. Genie is the plural form of jinn in the Arabic language. So you have these jinn, and the idea is that you can trick one to go inside of a container of some sort and seal it, but then also seal it with the seal of Solomon. This way, it can't be magically uncorked. It's actually stuck in there until someone releases it. And obviously, much later, the fantasy, the not literature specifically, but novels, basically the novels of Arabic mythology is that you can rub one of these artifacts like a lamp, and then the genie would come out. So I think that they're going to be trying to seal the sister. There's this one other Loa who's really powerful, and what do you call it? There's this other person, for crying out loud. There are too many names in here, and they're in Haitian, which is a derivative of French, but they're not, proper French, and I don't speak proper French anyway. I certainly don't speak Haitian. So Sandria Dark. Apparently there's Nicodemo Dark, and he has a sister named Sandria Dark. And apparently Sandria Dark is the person who first bound Bissau to the original Shadowman, the original like Jack Boniface himself, or I think they're indicating his father or his grandfather. I think his grandfather was the first person. God, this is complicated, but I'm digging learning all of this stuff. I'm loving how I'm actually figuring out more and more about this character. I don't even need spoilers and all that stuff in the cup, but if you want to, release something, one little tidbit here and there, too much is going to just kill it for me. But I enjoy the comic book slowly revealing this stuff. That's what I'm really enjoying. all these characters, man, they're so believable. You know what I'm saying? Because they're so detailed. Like I said, this is kind of like the Moon Knight of what do you call it? Valiant comic books. But you know what I'd really like to see? Deadman and Jack Boniface teaming up. So Deadman and Shadowman. Like that would be pretty cool. And then have another crossover where it is Moon Knight and Shadowman. Because I think that these two characters specifically from DC and Marvel respectively would have great stories and obviously very different stories with the Shadow Man. Dude, I'm really hoping to see something like that. Because it's funny because Deadman and Moon Knight would have like nothing for the most part in common with each other. Or would they? That could actually be a pretty interesting one. They're both about possession or being possessed. Anyway, yeah, Shadow Man, digging it. Definitely digging this story. And just when you think this comic book ends, oh no, it keeps going. So I love it. I really do love this. Anyway, guys, that's going to be it for me. Professor Bill, Comic Book University. Class dismissed.